Hi, this is Don McAllister, and welcome to another Screencasts Online weekly tip video. This week, I'll be taking a look at an extremely useful feature within Safari, both on the Mac and iOS, and that's the reading list. So if we tap on the reading list icon, now the reading list is for web pages that you don't want to sort of keep permanently. They're really for bookmarks, but for web pages that you see, don't read at the time but want to read later. And it does a really nice job now of synchronizing these between all your different devices. Creates an offline copy so that if you haven't got an internet connection, you can still read the web page at a later time. Very straightforward to use. In fact, let me go ahead and I'll just pick one of my reading list. So we'll pick on the chicken here. And then if I just go to business news, I'm just going to find another article. So let's say I've read that news about the chicken and I want to read about this. Drivers avoid pay by phone parking bay, say the AA. Haven't got time to read it now. So what I will do is tap on the share button. And this time I will say add to reading list. And over in my reading list, I now have this new article. Again, synchronized with all my devices. So whether I'm on my iPhone or if I'm on my Mac, I can actually read this and it will store an offline copy for me. Now, if I just want to see the unread items, now I have had a look at the chicken. So if I say show unread, the chicken should disappear. Yes, it has done. And then if I go ahead and, well, let me just tap on here as well. And I'll pretend that I've read this. You'll see that that has actually gone from my reading list now because I've read it. The items in your reading list aren't lost once you've read them. You can get them back. If I just tap show all, you can see now our chicken article down here at the bottom has returned. I can tap on here to read it. If I want to mark it as unread, I can swipe across so I can delete, or I can go ahead and say mark unread. Now, if I show unread, it reappears back in the list. And if I read it again, it's now removed from the unread list. Now, obviously, I don't have to mark things as unread. I could say show all and then open my drivers avoid pay by phone, read that again, and then just show unread. The reading list has become so good now that I'm actually starting to use that more than things like Pocket, etc. And you can get to the reading list from other applications. For instance, if I'm on, say, Facebook, for example, if I go across to Facebook, it's a bit convoluted, but rather than saving things in Facebook, I like to save them in the reading list. If I just go to Facebook, and if I look at a trending article, it's on The Guardian, so let's go over to the Guardian website. Now, because this is Facebook's own browser, I can't get to my reading list from here, but what I can do is tap on here, tap on Open in Safari. It takes me across to Safari, then all I need to do is just hit the share button, say add to reading list, and that's now stored for later, again, synced between all my devices. One of the really nice features of using reading list on an iOS device is there is an automatic scroll feature that allows you to mark it as read automatically. So if I'm actually reading this article, as I scroll down and get towards the end, now this is quite a long article, but as I actually get down towards the end, you'll see, here we go, up next. So if I just flick up, we get the next article in our reading list. Let's do that again. Down to our transfer news. It is up next, transfer news, and there's that article as well. Okay, let's go and take a look at the reading list over on the Mac. Now, over on the Mac, I've opened up the sidebar by tapping on the icon in the toolbar. These are all my synced reading items in my reading list. I can view them if I drag down. It's a little bit hidden, but I can see all of my items or just the unread items. And then I can also swipe across to remove them from here. I can select another item here. And then let me just close this pop-up. As I scroll, it should take me to the next item. Okay, there's the next item in my list. If I want to add a new item, let's go to this link here. If I want to add this to my reading list, if I hover over the URL bar, this little plus, hit plus, and it will pop it into my reading list for me. Let me just do a quick search for iCloud. Yep, there it is. That's the new item that I've just copied over. So, as I say, a very, very powerful way of keeping a list of all the web pages that you never seem to get around to reading and read them offline if needs be. If you want to learn more about using your Apple devices, there are over 700 full video tutorials available to ScreenCastsOnline members. covering all aspects of the Mac, iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and even the Apple TV. Now, all full members receive a new Apple-related video tutorial each and every week, as well as a free subscription to the ScreenCastsOnline monthly magazine, packed with videos and articles on getting the most out of your Apple devices. Now, you can get your free 14-day trial membership over at ScreenCastsOnline.com, or check out some of the free content over on the SCO Showcase app on the iPad, iPhone, and Apple TV. That's it for this week. I'll be back next week with another tip, so I'll speak to you then.